Guys, can I have your attention so I can keep giving my seminar? Yeah, good. That necklace is called a mala.
You're gonna turn on the...
It's done. Thank you for checking on in it. So this is a mala. It's a prayer bead necklace. We use it to count. If you don't have one, it doesn't really matter because the main purpose of a mala is to count mantras. Okay? It's the person next to you or someone in the back. Like we're a lot of people here with this tool. And actually, it really serves as a counter. And in Switzerland, when I give seminars there, they actually have a little ring on the finger with a clicker that counts. They have an electronic mala. It's really just a counter. 1, 2, 3. It's freaking crazy because I was basically kidding not so long ago about, one day we'll have technology that you just go click, click, click instead. Why not use a clicker instead of, and actually they sell those at the door. You have an electronic clicker that counts 108 and they say, one mala done. It's electronic mala, whatever. Anyway, so I like the traditional thing because there's all the magic part, like the cool, ancestral wisdom of using a mala, but actually it's to count. So if you don't have one, you're normal, it's cool. We're going to do a mala now. Just one of those spiritual techniques. You do the word. I spoke earlier that some words or some sounds have an effect inside. So it's just going to soothe in this wow feeling we have, like this is too weird. It's going to bring peace. Just chill, okay? And it's a peaceful mantra, okay? And we're going to do a lot of those mantras once in a while during the weekend. So if you want to have one, they are right there. They're for sale. They're built by Martha right here. And you can have your own mala. But if you don't want to have your mala or you don't want to spend money on that, don't worry about it. You can just, when everyone else stops chanting, you stop chanting. You've done the same amount of recitation. Because basically it's a counter, okay? We can have a big screen here. It's 1, 2, 3. But no, let's not do that. Let's say, traditional. I like it. Okay. You take your mala, 1 or 2 hands. So in one hand you have the mala, and you use your thumb. You rest it either on the index or the major. Doesn't matter. It's rested, and use your thumb to pull a bead. And if there's a lot of distance, then you sometimes try to grab them. Okay. This one is a knotted mala. It has a knot between every bead, so it's always exactly the same. But there's a mala like here. There's others that are just a lot of beads on a thread, and there's a space that happens. Just deal with it. It's just to count. Okay? Good. The mantra is Shanti. 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 Shanti in Sanskrit means peace. In Bija means something else. That brings peace. Anyway, so we're good. Okay? Shan manifests. Okay? It produces an effect. That's what Shan does. And T is equilibrium. The letter T was like that. It's for balance. And the syllable T, it brings balance and equity. Okay? So to bring balance and equity, that's peace. Peace happens when there's no turbulence. All right, so that's where the word Shanti comes from. Okay? So we're just going to recite it 108 times. Some of you have a Buddhist mala, which is 108 beads. Some of you have a Hindu mala, which is 109 beads. So some of you will say one more, and it's fine. We don't really care. Okay? This is a rhythm we're going to go. Shanti, Shanti. Okay, so we're not going to speed that Shanti, 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 Shanti to be done with our mala as quick as possible. Okay? Shanti, 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 shanti. All right. Peace. Just reciting that just calms down all these woo, you know. It makes us higher in energy, like feel more energy and, you know, like the chi inside. But also softens the turbulence and the pikes. Okay. For some of us, that is not new. Well, we're used to it. But for everyone for which it's new, this kind of practice, it's exciting and it's troubling. There's stuff in the mind like, was that really real? Like, is it really happening? This kind of question is completely normal, and I'm not even going to put an ounce of energy to try to prove you that it's real. Doesn't matter. After being exposed so often to tangible facts that can be validated by so many people, you'll know this stuff is real. Until then, you have the right to keep your own mental sanity. It is actually your responsibility to not lose your fucking mind in some kind of cult, okay? So it's sane to go careful. Skeptic is a bit too much on the brakes, but don't become a believer too fast. Do you understand what I mean? Because mental sanity is absolutely required for your happiness, for your sense of peace, your harmony in life. And we do freaky stuff, so give yourself a time to digest that, okay? And then when you realize, oh yeah, it is stuff we already do, the intuition thing, feeling when people are going to call and stuff. We already do that, and we just push it to the extreme because we train that, okay? So it's not as fantastic as, you know, walking on water and stuff like that, which is, you know, never seen it, never done it. So let's see what happens. I'm not closed-minded. I'm just saying I've never had objective proof of that. So one thing at a time. Cool? Keep your mind on your shoulders. Someone said, bring them on camera. Well,
You changed the screen.
oh, scheiße. Does that work? Is it you guys?
There.
You who? Hello? All right. There's about the same quantity of people offline, online, sorry. Online. I'm not the one who killed the internet. Half the state of Texas doesn't have internet right now, so people are blaming me because I probably actually did it. How's that work? Where was that? We're good. All right. Woo. So, yeah. I mean, I can't be responsible for every internet breaking, right? Can be anything. Good. The same way that you focus on your partner's hand during transmigration, focus inside. Just be there. Not just focusing inside. Remember the feeling of being present, of being embodied in that hand. Do it in your own body, like I'm here, I'm present, incarnate, present, embodied. This is not a relaxing contemplation where you will fall asleep. This is a willful, eyes open or closed, doesn't matter, willful application of I am in my body. And you'll realize that you feel more and more presence in your body. Be here. Be present. Just take the time to feel it. I'm here. I'm conscious. All right. Good. That's nice. Can you flip the chart? Just one page? Let's go to a blank page. We took the time to talk about pride, shame, and fear. In emotional integration, we learn to study 21 aspects of the human being to understand the mechanics inside, but usually we use the first 6 because that's the easiest way to apply it. Pride, shame, fear, abandonment, rejection, and guilt. But then you have control, power, manipulation, victim, savior, persecutor, attain, accumulate, and obtain or acquire. Egocentrism, overcertainty, false hopes, physical, mental, and emotional attachments. So these are the 21 masks that we study. And they're all a variation of the 3 poisons as the Buddha taught: ignorance, greed, and hatred. Okay, but we have a system of 21 aspects simply because it just fits. It fits with my long years of observation of myself, and it fits with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, like impressively, perfectly. Those who do occult sciences and EDM. Someone likes his music, but he's driving away with it. That's cool. So that's the thing to learn with Veronica in Spanish and in English with Jose Luis. It's a thing to learn with, I don't know who here teaches, but there's a bunch of you. Don't be afraid to advertise. I teach this, okay? Because this personal growth, and we used a few of those this morning, teaches you how to function inside, or how you are currently functioning inside, and how to get better, so you can free yourself from all this weight that you're carrying on your heart and on your mind, reduce the stress, be happy, and even take charge of your life. Okay, so that's just healthy personal growth. Upon that, we have all the other freaky hippie stuff that is pretty cool, which is the theme of the class now. I'm going to remove my mala so you guys don't transcend too much during the class. Yeah. Everything that happened in the past, when you lived it, it was now. You understand that? And since that time is over, it's past. Whatever is happening now is real. But everything that happened in the past, it was now when it happened. But it's not now anymore. It's the past. So what you have is memory. Trauma, or fond memories, but memories. Traces. Potential emotions inside you. You have the result inside you of that past, but the past is not real. Past is gone. The only thing real is now. Everything that will happen in the future, when it will happen, it will be now when it happens. So the future is not real. Only now is real. The future is hopes, dreams, expectations, plans, prudence, fears, insecurities, all imaginary stuff we project, but it's not real. Now, it's prudent to plan a good retirement or plan, your next meal at a restaurant, to do a reservation tomorrow if you want to go, because at one point that will be now. And if you don't plan that now, it's, you might not go to the restaurant. It's an example. It's a cheap example, but it's what I got. Sorry about this. Okay, so only now is real. Wisdom is to capitalize on those past experiences, to digest them, so that you get better at life with yourself and others. So you can get better now. Prudence is to see forward and make sure that now remains a happy moment. So those hippie New Agers who live only in the now and nothing else matters, only now is real, but they don't keep any resources for the future because they say that they're just stuck in insecurity. They're like, you know what? It's just not prudent. Of course, you should not be stuck in your past. Doesn't mean that you have to deny or forget it, because it's still affecting you now. The event that happened in your past is gone. It ceased existing. The trauma you have resulting from that event is now. It's now that you have the trauma, not in the past. You get that? Does that make sense? Checking with my psychologist. Are you there? Okay. My shrink is there, so I want to check. I'm talking shit. I just found it funny. So, only now is real. Let's push it. Okay? Let's push further than that. If everything was made of rock, would the word rock exist? No, because we would never talk about rock. I know it's impossible. We need gases, liquids, but if we would not need a word to declare a thing. Okay, if the only gender that existed was female, there was no male. Actually, there also would be no female. There would just be beings, like humans would be like that. If we didn't have a difference, we would not need to name one or the other. Do you understand that? So if we had only females in gender, and some way they auto-reproduce, then we would not have females. We would not call them that way. We'd just say, well, like humans or like living beings. Do you understand that? It's very important. So only now is real. The past does not exist. The future does not exist. That means that now does not exist. There's reality. Now never was a thing. There is the reality as it is. We made references to what now is because we believe that time goes forward, but time doesn't go forward. There's no time. There is the present. And the present is always changing. The entire universe is constantly modulating now. There is no future, because if something happens in the future, it will be now when it does. So it doesn't. There's no future. There's no past. Okay? There's only one reality in constant change. And a change that is done, we'll label it past. A change that we hope for or fear, we'll call it future. But they don't exist. So the concept of now is also not real. Go in your abdomen, go in your guts, and try to feel. There is no time. There's only the reality constantly changing. Time does not exist. But we do build references to past and not yet happened experiences. That's all in the mind. That's imagination. Only now exists. And that means it doesn't. There's reality. And once you can feel it, you can have an intellectual understanding, but once you feel, only now, presence. Something happens in the soul. Something happens in your being. And your perception of reality starts to change. Like, oh, so we're not stuck in that. We're just here. Yeah, it's pretty hippie. I get it. So, next step to that is the faster something moves in space, the slower it moves in time. Einstein's theory of relativity. So that a photon going the speed of light is not going at all in time. So the moment it leaves a star, it also hits your telescope, because from its point of view, it's the same instant. And from anyone outside of there, it's been 32 million years. Everyone's freaking out with that wisdom. That's pretty. All right, let's relax this. Let's relax this. So, lately, the greatest mind of this era, Stephen Hawking being one of the most, prolific writer and so good at explaining all of these concepts. He talks about a time machine cannot go back in the past for some reason. But the way a time machine can go, actually they built time machine and they said stuff to the future. Okay, this is now science fact. Okay, because this is how it is. They take a particle and they accelerate it, and the particle accelerates so much that that particle does not perceive time. So that when they stop the accelerator, it has not gone in the future. But it's now that we do. Okay, so let me do this again. A muon, one of those particles, like electron, proton, neutrons, one of them is called a muon. A muon degrades over 6 minutes. It's extremely precise. Okay, 6 minutes and whatever seconds. It's extremely precise. Whenever a muon exists in the universe, like comes out from a reaction, it's highly radioactive, but at very low intensity, so it's not dangerous. But it loses its charge and its constitution, and it degrades and ends in 6 minutes. So what they did is they accelerated a muon so fast that it did not degrade. From the point of view of the muon, it degraded over 6 minutes. But that happened over hours in the particle accelerator from people outside, because it was going fast in speed compared to us. It was not going fast in time. So you change the relation to time depending on how you move. Okay? It's pretty heavy shit, but that's what quantum physicists do today. Okay? It's what my friends do today. I'm not friends with them, I'm connaissance. Yeah. Someone I know. So, Einstein in 1920, whatever, expressed that when grandma stays home in the shack and grandpa goes out with the dog, compared to grandpa ages slower, not just because of exercise, but because he's moving, so he's advancing less in time. And the dog that is running around the grandpa is aging slower than the grandpa. And the tip of the tail of the dog going like this is aging slower than the rest of the dog. And that's the example that I used in the quantum physics convention at that time to explain that. Now, Einstein had no way to prove that his formula of relativity, it was a theory, now it's a law. He had no way to prove it, but we've proved it. Now it's a fact. Because, do you know how a GPS works? Oh yeah, my phone's right. I was like, where's my phone? I was like, yeah, it's with the mini people in there. Hi. So, how does a GPS work? There's a lot of satellites in higher orbit around the Earth. And they each send a time code every so many seconds, so many milliseconds, very fast. But they send a time code, and they're all in the same clock. But the distance, like the satellite above you, you'll receive the signal first, and the satellite that is way there over the horizon, you'll have later, a few milliseconds later. So a GPS triangulates. It calculates, it receives the same time response at different moments. And it calculates how long it took for each satellite to tell you where they are, and that's how you can say, this is where I am. Okay, a GPS works with time location. How did they prove Einstein theory of relativity and how precise was his formula? It's because they found out that all the GPS satellites were slow. The clocks didn't match. So they checked it. Could understand why once launched, the clock doesn't give you the same result as on Earth. And they found it. Satellites in high orbit travel faster in space, so slower in time, and that's why the clocks in the GPS are so slow. So they made a software using the formula of Einstein, proving that Einstein was right on the dot when he wrote his formula, because it is exactly to the Planck scale precision, his formula, that they use to reclock the GPS satellites, so that from their point of view, they're sending a time code from our time reality. So we're using the space-time distortion already in our GPS technology. That's freaking awesome, right? That's pretty heavy stuff. Yeah. So it's now, the theory of relativity is now the law of relativity of Einstein, because it is used and its formulas are absolutely and essentially precise on anything that moves in space and time. It's really freaking awesome, right? So my explanation, that of course I try to tell them, but they know everything already. Not all of them, but here's my explanation. Time simply does not exist from the base. There's only now. And the modulation is constant. And if something is still in space, all of the modulation is invested on the change happening inside. But if something is spending some of the modulation to change its position, it has less modulation energy to change itself inside. So the faster you go in space, the slower you go in time, because you experience evolving slower. Simple as that. There's no time. That's why you cannot go in the past. Stephen Hawking's theory is the grandfather paradox, is if you can build a time machine that goes into the past, you go into the past and you kill your grandfather, how could you possibly exist? So you actually never built the machine, so you didn't go in time. So it did exist, your grandfather. So you did build the time machine because now you're alive, so you did go in the past and kill him, for which reason you never went in the past because you weren't born. Okay, so they say that this is like a feedback. But it's flawed because it still believes that there's a time that exists. We can't travel in the past. We can't travel in the future. What we can is change our relationship to modulation that will change the clock depending on the observer. If you consider that everything inside you is moving, you can just start to go slower in time and then live 5 lifetimes in one, for example. Just saying. Pretty cool, huh? Or like, oh my God, it's 7:57. I'm gonna be late for work. I still have 15 minutes to drive, so you just drive. And in a way that is inexplicable, 3 minutes have passed and you get to your job. This kind of shit. Who experienced this kind of time shift? Yeah, okay. So the advanced guys, basically. Those who've been doing it for a while. So it's not something you control, but depending on what you feel and what you really need from basically the universe, I like to call it the Vishnu, because it's the same word in Sanskrit. So whatever you ask of Vishnu, what do you feel in the universe? It will try, if nature has what it takes to give it to you, it will try to modulate and provide it. But Vishnu is so perfect that it will do the same events for the billions of people at the same time. It's like playing chess with 1,000,000 pieces and everything works perfectly. Because Vishnu doesn't care specifically about you, but he cares about everything. So you can do a modulation to get what you want that will not deprive someone else of what they want, because it fits perfectly. If you do a modulation, let's say you alter reality because you do, magic, whatever, and because you want a promotion using supernatural means, and then you get the promotion. If you had not done magic or done any supernatural events or whatever, hippie stuff you believe in, if you have not done that, someone else would have gotten the promotion. Now that they don't have it, they want to send their kids to the same school. They're not going to buy the same product, the same cell phone, the same meat every week. You've dramatically affected their lifestyle forever. There's karma for that. Do you understand? There's a causality that implicates you. So the more greed, the more egocentrism you have in your spiritual work or anything supernatural, the more consequences there are, and you end up being pulled that resource, the extra resource you wanted, it is then taken from you to be distributed back to those who miss it. So the same way that I was saying, like sometimes I have money, I just give it to people. When I don't have money, I don't have money to give. And I'm talking thousands of dollars. Like right now, I'm highly reacting to what I just said because, like any human, I'm pissed of being broke. I'm not broke. It just feels that way when you cannot buy a good bottle of wine. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a reaction right there. It's like, I'd love to buy myself a $200 bottle of wine, but now I can't afford it, and my liver cannot afford it. So basically, okay, it's fine, right? Whatever. So if you approach this with greed and I just want more money, I give, then I want to have an experience, bam, it just happens. It just comes. Not because I have the money, but because someone offers it or it falls on my lap, like this kind of story I was telling this morning. So, another example. I want money. Why? Because I want to buy a house. Why? Because I want to raise a family. All right, so you don't want money, you don't want a house. You want a proper place to raise a family. This is what you have to focus on. Then the house will come. Maybe through money, maybe through a gift, you don't know. But if you focus on money because in your mind you want to control how that house will happen because society said you have to buy it, you're going to be stuck in the way. Now, usually getting a house involves you having the money. Usually. But don't block Vishnu. Because you never know. Like, I wanted to feel that I'm coming out of a limousine, walking in a red carpet, the photos and stuff. And a few weeks later, I was invited to live that because there was a way for Vishnu to give me that experience, and I could also bring stuff to other people. Like, it just happened. I wanted to talk to the government. Oh, bam, they call me. Because there was a way for me to contribute also, to give. It was not just about what I gained. Like, I want to live an experience, it happens. But there are experiences that I didn't have. Oh, how about I know myself, and I know my limits sometimes, most of the time, but not always, because I'm human. So there's a gray zone. But I wanted to be in space. I wanted to go in space. I don't want to do the entire astronaut training. I just want to go in space. Why not? Because I feel like it. And my friend calls me and asked me to do some graphic arts about a product because he just got contracted by SpaceX and he's going to be invited there. So basically, I want to go in space. My best friend, days later, says that he's going to the SpaceX thing because he's an inventor with stuff, and SpaceX is going to use his invention in their shuttles. Actually, in the garage. So I want it, and it happens. It starts to go that way. Cool. And he says to me, because he went there, spent the weekend with the engineers of SpaceX, super cool, comes back home, say, hey, next time I'm bringing you. Cool. I see it progress. And I feel, you know what? I don't really want to go to space. It's not an honest, real, profound thing. It's just like a childhood thingy. And then he says, hey, the SpaceX thing, it fell out. I mean, they bought the product, but now they're going to do it on their own. They don't need it. Like, it's over. Okay, cool. So, a few weeks ago, I wanted to feel what it feels like flying in a private jet. Really quickly, someone says, hey, can I talk to you? I'm going to fly you over in my private jet. I didn't go. I didn't want to go. So I said, no, look, I'm going to send you someone else. I referred someone else went. But I was offered a flight on a private jet. But I had to accept the responsibility. I'm going there as a counselor, and I didn't want to have that kind of responsibility. I didn't feel like it. You see, this is how I live. What experience do I want? I still have my ups and downs, my troubles and stuff. Not as much as you guys, but I have a pretty cool life. After taking responsibility when shit is going to happen and say, yeah, I lose, no problem. You're right, I'm wrong. Hey, like, we're cool, right? Still gonna go home, play video games, eat my steak, and be super happy. But it's like that. So when you understand your relationship with the whole, and you're not so caught up from the whole because you work on your pride, you work on your shame, and you work on your fear, you work on your terrible abandonment and your stress panics and whatever you have, whatever you got, you work on it, and yet you kind of open up to the world. And then if the world can bring it, if nature can bring you something, it will see if it can. Sometimes it's just not possible. I used to say as an example, like, I'd love to go into space, but there's no way. But when I really felt it, yeah, I had a friend who was going somewhere, and yeah. And I've had so much freaking weird things that it is completely acceptable for me to know that some guy would just say, hey, just come to space. They would have done it. Because I've done really freaky stuff just wanting it, and then the world brings me there. Because I've been practicing 30 years in taking responsibility for my emotions and my reactions. So I'm flowing. Just keep going. I still have ego. I still have pride moments. Okay? So I'm not showing off, by the way. I'm not saying like all this to say how great I am. It's to inspire you with the possibilities. That's the reason I'm telling you, look, if you work on yourself, you're going to make it. And, I'm not a millionaire. I could just wish to be a millionaire and bam, it wouldn't work. I know. Because I don't want $1 million. I want experiences. So you have to focus on what you really want to live. This is how you manifest. My greatest manifestation for me is I want to teach the world what I know, and look at that. It's happening. It's now like 10 million people who know the stuff I created. That's pretty good statistics. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, Shiva God is so popular that it just brought up the numbers. But yeah, that's the thing. So the way that you build a relationship with reality mostly depend on your attitude, on how you manage your own shit inside, your own stuff. And the hardest part is to have the humility to admit it. Yes, I'm stressed out. Yes, I'm afraid of this. Yes, I don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes it's very human stuff, like someone stalking you and wants to hurt you, or your ex is after you, or you're in court in a divorce that doesn't end. And like there are stresses that are really pounding on your mind, and they're real. It won't make all of this go away. It will not. Your life challenges will remain. But the way you go through them will become so much easier. It's still not fun, to fight with someone in court or to whatever. Like, I resolved the situation very easy. My ex-wife was an awesome person off the bat. And when we divorced, I gave her everything. So keep everything. I'm not going to court. Keep the house. Keep everything. I was happy with that. Because I can live under my ranch. I'm happy in my basement. My girlfriend's not happy in my basement. I'm happy in my basement. It's like too much snow, right? Not enough light and too much snow. That's Canada, basically. No light, lots of snow. We do what we have to, right? So she was saying, okay, I need money. Why? I want to buy a house in Barcelona. So why? It's because I want us to be happy. Okay, forget the house, forget the money. We want to have a happy situation in Barcelona. And bam, situations happen where she finds something affordable. It's just wang. What, 3 months later, we're living in Barcelona. We have a house in Barcelona. That's freaking awesome. So I need to be in Canada because I'm taking care of my parents and my 2 kids. So I have 4 people who emotionally and financially also kind of depend on me. And I also want to be in Europe because I teach Magia anyway. I go there. She works there. It's her clinic. So she has to be there. So we just spend there and we have a house. It's not just like a hotel. We have a place of our own. And it's minuscule, but there's light. There's no snow. It's full of light. There's people around. Because I live like between the cornfield and the forest, okay? So there's no one. She's like, I need to talk to people. It's like the 5 people around here speak Quebecer. They don't even speak French. You can't. If you learn French, you still cannot communicate with these guys. So he's like, my God, let's go to Barcelona. So yeah, now I'm going to start spending time there, which is pretty cool. Because I told her, every time you say you don't have enough money, I say, stop that. Focus on what you want to live. And it took time because so long, it's so ingrained in us, I don't have enough money. I said, no, what you need is to focus on what do you want to live. And then you must also physically move to get those clients, to get the money, like physically do something for that to be possible. But when you're in a manifesting state, what you really desire to affect reality is what do you want to live. And it won't make you immortal. Well, still have no proof. Probably won't, okay? I'll say that, okay? People die of a sickness at one point and that's that, okay? What it will do is it will help you through your life process get a bit more what you would prefer. Because what you want is to have a happy moment in this or that circumstance. The mechanical part where, well, for that I need money, okay, yes, you do this when you're planning your work and when you're acting to get it, of course. When you're proactive and in creating your life how you want. That's important. But in the manifesting state, your feeling has to be, what do you want to live? I want to live with someone who loves me this and that way, that cares me, that I can care back, and bam, and then you don't have exactly what you wanted, but something pretty close. It just gets better, you know. Like in manifesting a lover, you don't choose. You just have to, what do you really want to live with someone? And then nature brings you what was available, which is usually not exactly what you want. But, you know, this is life, right? Can be so greedy and capricious. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Just influenced by feeling as much as you can what you really want to have an experience and just put it out there. Now, I don't want to anthropomorphize God. I don't want to say that God is a person or someone who listens because I don't believe in that. But I call God with a name, okay? I say the universe. Universe. But I like to believe the universe is conscious and is aware of me talking in the air like that. Okay, my imaginary friend. So I call it Vishnu. All right? So, okay, Vishnu, the whole of the universe. Vishnu, how the Hindu call the God, which is all things manifest. There's, in Hinduism, you have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, which are the same thing, but there are three aspects of what is divine. And it's not an old dude with a beard with the golden keys to heaven. No, it's not that. It's universal concepts that are not really people. So I talk to the universe, hey, Vishnu, look, this is my order form. I accept whatever, but this is what I would like. I don't keep it in my head, keep it in my guts. You have to feel it. If you feel it, that's what you radiate. The same way we did transmigration, put your consciousness on the hand of the other, look blue and green, and look in yours, look, this is the feeling, this is what I want. I will accept whatever you can give me that gets close to that. And then you see what happens. So that's a first class of influence. It's not automatic. It takes time, and sometimes you have to move your ass. If you're a piece of furniture in your house, not much is going to happen. I love the expression, by the way. Someone lately calls me mueble, so move, come, walk. He's like, hey, estás un mueble, muévete. Come with me. All right, let's go walk. It's easy to sit and not walk, right? Oh my God. Anyway, that was my little blurb now about manifestation. We're high. It's pretty hot in here, right? Mm-hmm. Just crank it up. I did say, please don't put the AC when it's minus 20 Fahrenheit outside, but if we're getting hot, we need to have some air. That was a little talk this afternoon after doing a bit of transmigration. I could give an extra hour, but you know what? I feel now that it's time to just digest that. We spoke about space-time a bit. And your mind's like, yeah, cool, but what's the point? Like, how is it useful? Oh, okay, let's keep it at that. Alteration of reality will come. And usually it works when it doesn't destroy anyone else's experience. Because Vishnu is everyone. It's all the universe, every being involved. If you do something that is just for you to get, for example, that promotion, so if you have it, no, the other can't, this kind of thing, I suggest you let it go. Because you don't want a promotion. You just want more money for what you want. Actually, you don't want more money. You want another experience. Focus on what you want. Maybe the promotion is not the way, but maybe it is. If you focus on the promotion, you get the karma for altering that course for other people's life. But if you focus on having a happy life, oh, look at that, you get a promotion. Or you get an extra, like, it's just examples to get you to realize, focus on what you really desire to live. Put that in the universe, then physically work. Don't use magic. Physically work. Get clients. Tell the boss you're good for the promotion. You just earn it with good old elbow oil. Help yourself and God will help you. Well, maybe it means just do it yourself, right? And like any intuition, if it all works out, you'll never know if you manifested it. You'll just, oh wow, that's so cool. All right, peace. When the manifestations are so far out, then you say, okay, that's manifestation. It is what it is. So I will see you tomorrow at 10. And I hope you enjoy your class today.
The time changes tomorrow.
Hey, people around the planet, there's time changes in various places, but not necessarily yours, but maybe. So check it out, because it's 10 p.m. El Paso. Oh, here, it's going to be even more confusing for the rest of the planet. So just check it out, okay?
We're going to fall back 1 hour.
It falls back 1 hour. I don't even know what it means if I have to put my clock left or right. I don't know.
Yeah, so that means tomorrow will be 11.
It's 11 for some people tomorrow, but 10 here. So anyway, 10 here tomorrow. And, I just look at my phone and he tells me what to do. I'm codependent of technology. All right. Peace.
Yeah, we get